Hey, we're Matt and Julie Beamer with Jonathan and Elizabeth Beamer, and we are celebrating 30 years of living and ministering overseas. And to do that, we're going to be sharing stories both today, Club 1040 Day, and throughout the year coming. We'll be dropping different stories, different podcasts, and things like that to show you how your investment in Club 1040 is making an impact throughout the Middle East and North Africa, and to talk about how by the year 2030, we want to see that impact expand and continue in a strong and more quick way. So make sure you don't miss out, and also help us out by sharing these with your friends as well. Spread the word, because the more we get this word out, the more we can do, the more quickly we can do it together. God bless.
Parents that are scared to take a move and take a risk with their children, I love seeing, for me, obviously, I want to hear from you, but as a parent, taking you guys over and raising you in a different country, I wouldn't have wanted any other way. I love the richness that it gave your life. I love the knowledge that you've gained. I love the cultures that you've been able to see. How do you feel being children of Matt and Julie Beamer? What is your takeaway? How do you feel? Would you have preferred just staying here in the States and being raised like a normal kid?
No, when you understand the different sides of the spectrum. So you've got the staying in one place your entire life, which there's people in England that we stay connected with through social media that are in the same place. So they were born in Manchester, live there, they're still living there, doing the jobs and all that stuff. And so you get to see through social media. That's one of the aspects now that how people live. And from our life, we got to experience living a good portion of our childhood in one location, growing up as British or, British people, and having the accent. And, if you would have crossed us on the street, you would have said, hey, those kids are English. And now, we got the missionary side of things. We're traveling constantly, moving to different countries, experiencing different cultures in a completely different way. And then bring it all the way to today, where me and Elizabeth are here in Tulsa, and we've been here for quite a few years, in our own way, and being able to see each different lifestyle. I would 10 times over 10, 10 out of 10 times choose the adventure. But that's me personally. Other people may not. So it's a very individual thing. And then also understanding how, like, Elizabeth took the adventure and the moving much differently than I took it, especially when it came down to friendships and finding different places. I didn't like the initial start. I liked the middle, but I also didn't mind leaving too, where she experienced it in a whole different way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very, very, very challenging for me. I remember, like what I said when you said we were moving to Africa, just broke down in tears, like absolutely devastated, because I'm such a people friendship person. I really, really take that kind of stuff seriously. So whenever we did move, and then I knew that we would be going on to something else in the next, however many years, because that's your guys' calling, is to be an apostle. And when I started to realize that, I'm like, oh, there's not a lot of permanence in this kind of stuff. So it was pretty difficult. But growing up in the UK was amazing. I got to a point where I was like, I will never travel. I remember telling you guys, as soon as I get to 18, I'm staying in one place. I'm never going on anywhere. Planes, what are those? And then I turned 18, and like a week into being 18, I was like, bye guys, I'm going to move to Australia to go to college. And now looking back, I am so thankful, so grateful. I think about different cultures and the getting to see different things that people never in their life will get to see, or they only dream about seeing. I think it's just amazing that we got to do homeschool, learning about the pyramids in a book, and then going to the pyramids an hour later. There's stuff like that people just dream of doing. So I'm so thankful for the way that we were raised, even though at the time it was so difficult. Now I can look back and definitely be very thankful for it.
So you'd be up for moving back to Nigeria then?
Whatever the Lord wants for me, I'll do.
That's the first time I've ever heard that response.
I will never say never at this point. I've learned so far in my life, I'm like, I grasp onto things and I just, Lord, whatever you want from me, I will do it. But, if I have a choice, I like drive-thrus, I like AC, I like power consistently.
That's such a mature response. Wow.
Now that
She's
you've had
growing up.
PR training.
Yeah, literally
But
media
if
training.
you asked us if we would move back to England, your response would what? Same answer?
Yeah, same answer, but
that's interesting.
honestly, for me, probably no.
Yeah.
Because you've just been there, and you
Yeah.
you see it now through different eyes, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's also part of, where I'm graced to be and, where I feel like I'm supposed to be. But there was a point where I was flying back into England where I thought would be my forever home. And I'm like looking through the window all deep as I do, introspective. And I just felt like this isn't home anymore. Like I felt God say that to me. So, I mean, I'm so thankful to have grown up with the freedom to be able to know that, you have things for a season and then you can move on to the things that you need to do. But also I have that mixture of being able to have the steadiness, have the security, have the friendships that I need to, and taking those seriously at the same time. So it's a good balance. Yeah.
Now that you're a parent, Jonathan, what would you think about taking your child?
See, okay, so the one thing that I will have to say is that we both experienced something completely different in like the way we responded to the moves or the cultures or the separation, the different moves was completely different. And we almost landed in the same spot where I too, like even having the chance to go to Italy, I questioned whether or not I wanted to go be stationed over in Italy because I had already been there and I didn't want that. I would have preferred to be in America at that time. But right now, we've kind of landed, and I didn't want to travel as much, but now we're both like, we want to go.
Yeah.
So we want to take those trips now, which is weird to see how, even though we experienced it so differently, we've come to the same conclusion on having the adventures, but at our own pace in our own ways. As a dad now, I'm like, I'm ready to go. So I want to take her on the trips to the different places, even if it's Nigeria, the Middle East, I don't care. So I think it's important to pick up and
Can you agree though that like you feel like having a stable base and then from there going to different places, that probably is something that you would want more, or no?
That is, I don't know. That's something that I haven't really thought about, I guess, because right now I do have the stable base. That I think that's a deeper question.
One thing that you've done well, though, that I think would make it easy for you to do that is you guys have lived, both of you have done really well with this. Although I think you do a little bit more from the nesting standpoint, making your environment your environment. And
Yeah, I mean, when we were traveling around America in the car, his side was just like empty, and I'd be like putting posters on the window in the back of the seat.
But you guys you've kept your lifestyle as basic as possible,
Yeah, you do.
so that you can fulfill like that. What is it? That short-term sacrifice for the long-term.
Yeah, I mean, I've always disliked having too much stuff, and even now, I mean, this week I'm going through a period of like, I'm like, get rid of everything, because I never want to be held down to one spot if that is, what we're supposed to do and go anywhere else. The more things you have, the more difficult it is to pick up and go. But then there's also the balance as growing older, having kid, and, starting a family, even like memorabilia and things that are memories. There's a portion of me, I'm like, I don't want it. Toss it. But in 20, 30 years, will I, want to look back at that? I don't know. So,
I mean, do you guys feel like that you missed out on some of those kind of things, having stuff growing up, or not? I mean, I say that when I think about, okay, remember the one Christmas in Nigeria?
Oh my gosh, I do.
Yeah, our first Christmas in Nigeria. What was that like?
Our first Christmas in Nigeria, it was interesting because you guys did not have a lot of money at all.
When there was no place to buy any gifts at all, and it was very expensive as well.
Yeah. So we were staying at somebody's house, a teacher from the school that we ended up going to in the future. But so the stuff that they had was like books. That's what we kept our time doing. It was hot, obviously, because we're in Nigeria. We didn't have a Christmas tree, so we got a laundry basket, flipped it upside down, made paper chains to like decorate around it. And then all of our Christmas presents were little like IOUs. It was like, I owe you a new shirt. I owe you. I don't know if I ever got that new shirt, by the way.
Well, you made us the cutest globes from jelly jars, snow globes,
I had to get really creative.
Yeah, you guys made it amazing and made it special. And it's been like one of the highlights of our Christmas that will maybe not highlight.
Was it?
But it was a very memorable.
Definitely.
We made it special.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciated that about you guys as parents, is that you try, as your first time being missionaries, your first time being parents, your first time doing all those things. And now I look back and I'm like, they really did try their best to do that kind of stuff for us. So I really do appreciate that. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd do different?
Well, that's a long list.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked that is because someone recently, they were with us in Lebanon. And in Lebanon, we have a nice place. But because we know we're not going to be there forever, we don't nest like that. Mm-hmm. And literally, like anything that God's given us there, the furniture, the vehicles, anything, we just give the keys over and we hand it to the next people, the people we've raised up, and then we go to the next place and start over. And so with that, there's like almost nothing that is, and I remember a person saying, what do you do? How do you move? And we just hand it over, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could do that. Like, where's all your stuff?
Yeah.
Like, what's...
It's great not to have that feeling that, I can't do anything unless I have this. It's nice to have that freedom to be able to go and not feel those things. But I remember the Lord, when he dealt with me, I had a shelf on the wall and I had a whole bunch of my knickknacks and memorabilia. This was before I was married. And that shelf fell and I was devastated. And I realized how much things had a hold on me. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, I was just like, I'm never going to let things have a hold on me. And you guys know as well as I do that I don't have in fact, you would prefer that I have more memorabilia. Elizabeth is very sentimental and she likes memories. But most of our memories are either, nothing. Well, I don't really, I was thinking even photos because we didn't have photos until we were like 2008. But before then, I don't have a lot of those memories. So, and I know that's hard on you because you would prefer that I have more, but I tried with what I did, what I did have.
But the stuff we do have, we treasure. And especially me, I have memory boxes from the different places. And even if that's the only thing that I got to take away, I still really treasure those types of things.
Being able to pick up a move is important though.
Mm-hmm. So especially nowadays when people have so many things that keep them from going and doing and experiencing things. And even though we didn't have a lot of finances, we have so many memories. We've met so many people along the way that are part of your lives and a part of your, all of our lives. And they have made our lives so special. Mm-hmm. And Dad and I, we look back and we think, what would life be like if we were just in Michigan, back to where we began. And we were like, what would it have been like if we would have never gone? And
we'd be such different people.
We would be so different and our lives would be so different. And we both just looked at each other and we were like, so grateful. We were like, thank you, Lord, for taking us, helping us to say yes, helping us to go and be, adventures with God are amazing. He knows what will feed your heart. Just say yes to him. I'm so thankful that we were able to say yes. And I'm thankful that you guys said yes and, are the people that you are today.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, hearing some of the stories, and letting us pull back the curtain a little bit and invite you into our family adventures over these last 30 years. It's because of you that Clubton 40 has been able to do anything that we've done. Thank you so much.